Hi, welcome to Canvas. I'm here with Ag. Do I could say it as Ag or Og? Og. Ag is good. And we've got Ag's new exhibition downstairs in Canvas. We are socially distancing. I'm wearing a mask and I'm going to keep my 2 metres away. So, Ag, tell us about your work.
Right, Ag is not what is a name I've been called since I was a small child.
Okay.
My full name is Anthony.
Oh, right.
It got abbreviated Ag when I was a child, and it's just stuck. And actually, in purposes for the artwork, it's quite a good handle to have rather than just Anthony. But everybody called me Ag, I think that's it.
Cool.
So, lost in the mists of time.
Yeah. Do you want to go back into the space and then we'll...
Yeah.
I can be... So, and then, we can have a look at the work.
Right.
So, the exhibition is on in Canvas until the end of October, and there's a real range of very, very funny, very humorous work. First question I'd like to ask you is, you paint everything using household paints, which are nigh on impossible. You can't mix colours. Can you mix colours? You can mix colours. Okay, tell me a bit about the paints then.
Well, when I used to work in the film business, we used to work with, and this is a long time ago now, all pre-digital. We used water-based paints, mostly I used water-based paints a lot because they were quick drying, because they were easy to handle, because you're getting ready for film sets and things like that. And it's just something I got into, and working with emulsions, without using any brand names like Dulux or anything, you can mix them very well. They're very permanent, they last. I've had stuff outside for 10 years, they don't fade or crack.
So this is interior paints you're using?
It's the emulsion. Basically emulsion paint and matte finish. The only thing I'll say about them is that they're very hard on brushes. They're very abrasive on brushes. If you're using cyanide brushes, particularly sable hair brushes, they wear them out very quickly.
Right.
And it's a job to blend colours to get gradual colours, but they are quick drying, they're flat. And of course, most of the poster artists that I like, and all the books are well on everything, all their work was done in flat blocks of colour. Those people between the walls. So it's kind of fine. But
because when I've mixed them, they all just go brown. Every time I mix, so I've had a go. It's never quite worked.
every time you set right.
Yeah. So just a quick thing. You've said about working for TV. Can you name drop and films? Can you do some name dropping for us?
I can do. It's Hollywood stuff, mostly made over here and abroad. I worked on 3 Bond films, James Bond films. My father was a designer in the early ones. If you look up Sid Cain and Ken Adam, that's where my roots are. So,
give us an example of one of the sets that you worked on in a Bond film. What sort of was it a backdrop? Or I'm guessing.
When you have a set, if it's an interior one, you do. Traditionally, the job was just lettering. We were sign writer, but it evolved into graphic art. This is pre-computer. Everything's done by hand, so people get the word graphics mixed up these days. So you do everything. So say you might have say a wartime shop during the war. So I do anything from the shop front. We do things like beer bottle labels, signs it on the till. We do etch mirrors, like pub mirrors, things like that, all for the camera. All sorts of things really, packaging, stuff like that, whatever was required for the set.
Yeah.
So nowadays, of course, it would all be done digitally.
Yeah. So I've got Chris here, who's Ag's wife, and she's interject any interjections, anything he misses out that he doesn't. Anything he doesn't, if he's self-deprecated at all, you just butt in and say, because we know what he's like.
Well, it's just when you're taken on not to do a set, it's for the whole film.
Yeah.
So it's the sets.
Throughout the film, So it's So you tend to think,
Outdoor locations. For example, in war films, I painted tanks on tanks, lettering on tanks, hung over the side of ships in India. I painted a Second World War bomber with all the stuff on it. So it's whatever was required, really, art, graphics, and lettering.
Okay, so I've got a question here because we've got people watching. Claire says, do you need to prime your canvas differently if you use an emulsion paint to, say, acrylic?
I use board.
Use board.
Board, yeah. And I'll prime it. Yes, I'll give everything has a coat of black emulsion.
Black emulsion.
Everything's black emulsion to seal the board.
Yeah.
And then I'll work on top of that.
Okay, we have a lot of artists tend to follow our live streams, so that's why we're all going. Okay, technical questions.
It's not a standard way of painting, but then
Yeah.
it's not a standard background really. But I do the black because it's like they say, it kills kills everything, and you work on top of it. Sometimes if I don't put too many coats of colour on it, the black will leach through, and you get a nice texture of the black.
Okay.
Coming through sometimes, but.
So have you drawn all these? I mean, the drawing's so strong. Obviously the drawing and the lettering. So do you draw things out first, or do you go straight onto the board with your drawing?
A piece of A4 paper while I'm having
A4,
while
excellent.
breakfast.
No way.
And I do a few ideas, and Chris say that looks silly, or I like that. So
Yeah.
I mean, in the film business, you work out. I remember one time in Görlitz in East Germany. It was around the world in 80 days, Jackie Chan.
Oh, brilliant.
And Görlitz was Victorian Paris.
Yeah.
And I had to go up on a scissor lift, I don't know how many feet, 80 feet, and the whole side of the building with faded French lettering on it,
No way.
And the reference I was given for that was that big, an A4 sheet, and I blew it up to, I don't know what it was. It's huge, all the way down the side of the building.
So you
So you do that, and you
do
come down.
you project that then? Because you can't.
Well, I just squared that up, really.
You just squared it up on a building.
Yeah,
That's impossible.
Did it all with charcoal.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't use projector really.
Okay, so have you ever done something like this? This is knowing how it works and knowing the humour in this one. It's just sold before we even opened. So you've always got the humour with the lettering guy getting the letter the wrong way round. And having done illustration myself for years and having got a very important job once wrong where I left an N out, or might have added an N. Have you done it?
Well, that's the standard sign. I'm not a sign. I wouldn't call myself a sign artist. There's different discipline. I would be a lettering artist, which is different. It's the graphics with. So I wouldn't call myself a sign writer, but it's a sign writer's nightmare, and I've seen it happen. A spelling mistake. So it was a sort of joke. The first one I did was McCullough,
Yes.
and he's just French when he was doing it. I don't ask me why, but he's got the dog with him who's fluent in Welsh and English.
Yeah.
To keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
And he's happy. He's got his wine there, his bottle of French wine.
Yeah.
And he's happy, just left alone. So that's.
So when you think of these ideas, I mean, I chuckle when I come round to your exhibition, and I must say we have got Ag's cards here as well, and there are not many left because I think I've bought most of them. So are they these bad jokes? A lot of them. Do they come from that you're sat somewhere, or do you spoof? Do you find an advert and then spoof it? Do you go that way?
I've been accused of having the quirky sense of humour. So
Yeah.
I suppose that's possibly it. And that one to me is just silly.
Yeah.
The idle umbrella, instead of a parachute, and then they sadly go out of business. Then the RAF goes over to ejector seats, and the company sadly goes out of business. And I've seen people look at that blurb and go, "Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. It's a good company." And you think, it's just absurd.
Yeah.
So I do what I do now. I mean, for years I had to work for other people. I had to work on films I wasn't happy with, if you like, design-wise. Not my choice. I was an employee, if you like, or self-employed. But so this is something I do now.
But it's a good discipline. So is there, people always say this to me, how long does it take you? So I'm going to put the horrible question of, if it was to all go right, how long does it take you?
About 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's including making a frame. No, they can take months, some of them.
Yeah.
They evolve, and some of them, this one, for example, was a different colour a while ago, and it just wasn't doing it, so I put the lady in the bath, his wife, and so they're sharing the soap in the bath now, and it makes it a little bit, and then that just struck me as maybe it's a bit, for its day, it would have been a bit cheap.
Risky, risky.
Bold,
Yeah, but you don't want to waste the hot water if you've boiled it.
No, that's right. So that one I've had in different colours for quite a few years, but it's been revamped. cut down, reframed. This one, basically, we were at a show in Abergavenny in the castle grounds, and the public, there was a lovely warm day in September, the public, they were all milling around at this food show it was, and the big wheel had been opened, and this man popped up, and he was doing like a with the bucket in his hand, and he slowly climbed out and got to the ground, and everybody was aghast and just watched him, and he just staggered off saying, wonderful party, and off he went. And of course it was street theatre, they'd hired him to do it, but he got in the bin without anybody seeing, shut the lid. So that was kind of...
Because I thought that was just a spoof, that you'd seen that somewhere and spoofed it, but that was actually a live event. So anyone in Abergavenny...
set me going, you know, and of course it's McHinlist, you know, people think it's McHuntliff, but it's not, it's McHinlist.
Yes.
So they get that wrong. And I've been told that a town, Haste, doesn't actually exist in Argyllshire, but...
Yeah, but you did it in Haste. Sorry.
It's popular in Haste,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So they're just ideas, really. This one, we went to Ditchling in Sussex, which is where Eric Gill had his and Frank Brangwyn worked together. And of course, that's a Gill lettering, designed by Eric Gill. And it just struck me going through the museum there with all the typefaces and the things that they use for printing, to do a sign writer's, you know, like an eye test, really.
Yes, yeah.
And letters, and of course.
Yeah, no, it's very, very. It took me a while to work that one out.
I'm not sure if it's got a message or not.
Yeah, I think it has.
Yeah,
I think it has. It took me a while. Someone came in and went, I won't give it away, but they explained it to me. I was eavesdropping. So, and we've solved that one. But hopefully we have got a lot more here.
Yeah.
So any other, this one, I love this one. I love the detail on his pockets.
Oh yes, there's any, yeah. My wife modelled for that. Yeah. And again, that's absurd. We wear fast ice, so he's going to get drowned if he's not quick enough.
Yeah.
So it's just silly. Really.
And the other one.
The beret started to creep in. It started becoming a French beret.
Right.
Like artists have, and it's actually becoming a bit of a feature now.
Yeah.
So I'll have to.
You're going to have to get one.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah. The teeth.
Yeah.
So everyone keeps asking about this here. I'm going to go in, if you step back, and then I'll go in close so you can... The teeth... So... Oh. So if you could tell me about the teeth.
Well, we had a set of rubber teeth, and I'm sure they came from out of a Christmas crack or something, and they were gross. They were supposed to be gross, it was a joke thing. And I just thought it just struck me the idea of actually making some teeth and having a cabinet like that. So I made the teeth, the top one and the bottom one, it's polyfiller basically, mixed with emulsion paint, a little bit of water, and the emulsion paint binds the powder so that you can carve it very easily and it's not crumbly. So I cast the first top one and the bottom one in humus pots, empty pots, and the second one down was in a Danish glue tub, because of course you can peel the plastic off easier after. Just cast the actual shapes and I just hand carved them. And I just sort of put it in the cabinet, you know, and then just made the shelves, made the cabinet.
Oh, it's great.
Just pick a name. There's nobody called Fraser, and some that I know of Glasgow, but I just picked it, and of course there's a quote from Gladstone there.
Yes.
Just, you know, good boost for sales.
Yes. Excellent.
Yeah.
Next, what's next for you? Have you got? Are you I think the cardigan one you were saying you did specifically for our show, using the brush paints. I can't remember the brush, the finish paints, weren't they?
Yes, Tickerula, is it?
Tickerula, yes, that's it. Yeah.
Lovely paints to use. I've never used them before. They're different to the other brand.
Yeah.
They're very smooth. They're lovely, nice. There's not painting with like butter really.
Okay.
Very, very opaque colours.
And they're just so quick drop because we friends of ours who are brush, so they're available in Cardigan. So you can come to Cardigan to buy those paints.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah. And have you got a kind of theme of where you want to go next with? Because you've got a lot of health and safety. You haven't ever thought of going kind of political, overtly political. Because, well, health and safety now, I mean, surely there must be a lot to spoof. with the pandemic.
well,
So you're quite happy to sit in the past with where these are.
in a way, what I used to like about, because working on period films, particularly, we had lots of reference books.
Yeah.
Which I've got, and I really got to love the old enamel artists, the Victorian enamel artists. It was so bright and optimistic. Of course, we had an empire, so everything came from the empire, tea or rubber. It was so optimistic, and they could put sixpence on it, you know, and it would stay sixpence for many, many years, whatever it was. And just the humour and then the same between the wars, particularly with the railway posters, that lovely, it was so technically competent, the artists were so, but often classed as artisans because they put lettering on these lovely paintings, you know, that would stood in their own right as artwork. And I really kind of like that. So it is sort of set in the past. It's the modern retro, really.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I don't have any particular desires to go political or
But you have a say there. Yeah.
You know, I'm quite happy with this genre because
Yeah.
it's where my humour lies.
Yeah. And actually, with the absurd and the different perspective, it's still contemporary because it's still, you know, there's so much here that could still. I mean, yes, obviously, there's with the humour.
As I say, that's just the nightmare on your first meeting.
Yeah, this is it.
It's deciding who's done what.
Yeah. So now we're all pleased we can smell, so that's all good. Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
So just ideas, really. And I've got a few more in the pipeline.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in with the show and getting the new work done, especially for us. And we're really, really honoured and privileged to have you here showing your work.
Thank you for having me. Do you want to have a look at the...
Yeah, we'll go to the one out. Oh, I'll do the cycling one. We're just doing the COVID dance of 2 metres. So that one, there's lovely.
That's just in the acronym there. Go by bus.
Okay.
So.
And then the final one, which any ramblers out there or anyone walking the All Wales Coast Path. Yep. There you go. There you go. Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Ag, and we'll speak to you soon. Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Pleasure.
Bye.